Hello, everyone, and a very warm welcome. It's so lovely to have you joining us today.
It really is, Daniel. And something I've noticed, and I hear it from friends too, is just how overwhelming the grocery store can feel these days, especially when you're trying to make good, healthy choices for yourself.
You're absolutely right, Serena. It seems like every week there's a new superfood or some new advice about what we should or shouldn't be eating. And one item that's been a staple for so many of us over the years is milk. We grew up with that message, didn't we? Drink your milk, it's good for your bones.
We certainly did. But now, with all the different kinds available, dairy, non-dairy, and all the rest, it can be genuinely confusing to figure out which one is truly best for us, especially as we want to keep feeling energetic and strong.
That's precisely what we're going to delve into today. Milk. It's been a go-to for calcium and a part of our daily lives for so long. But here's a crucial point, everyone. Not all milks are created equal, particularly when we consider our body's changing needs as we get a bit older.
That's an important distinction, Daniel. I imagine some choices we might think are healthy could actually be holding us back.
Exactly. Some choices, even ones we've relied on for years, thinking they were healthy, might be quietly affecting our energy levels, our digestion, even our bone health, without us even realizing it. But please, don't worry, because on the flip side, and this is the encouraging part, there are some truly fantastic milk options out there that can give us a real boost and support our health in wonderful ways. It's all about knowing what to look for and what perhaps to leave on the shelf.
So, we're going to get some clarity on this today.
We are. In this video, we're going to clear up some of that confusion. We'll look at 3 specific types of milk that you might want to think twice about, and I'll explain exactly why they might not be the best friends to your body these days. And then, more importantly, we're going to talk about 3 wonderful, healthy milks that you really should consider choosing instead. We'll keep it simple, no complicated jargon, just straight-to-the-point advice you can use on your very next shopping trip.
That sounds incredibly helpful, Daniel. Where do we start?
All right, let's dive in. The first milk that, frankly, you might want to kindly show the exit door from your fridge can be a bit of a wolf in sheep's clothing. It often presents itself as a fun, innocent treat, perhaps even bringing back fond memories. I'm talking about flavored milks.
Oh, like chocolate milk or strawberry milk. I can see how those might be tempting, especially if you have grandkids visiting.
Precisely. And let me be clear, Serena, there's nothing wrong with a very occasional, small treat. Life's too short to be overly strict all the time. But the concern arises if flavored milk has become a regular habit, something reached for thinking, well, it's milk, so it must be good for me. Or perhaps as an easy way to satisfy a sweet tooth.
So, what's the main issue with these flavored milks when consumed regularly?
The main reason, Serena, is sugar, and lots of it. We're talking about a serious sugar overload in many of these products. Just one glass can contain as much sugar, if not more, than a can of soda or a candy bar. And as we get older, our bodies become much more sensitive to the effects of all that refined sugar.
I can imagine that much sugar would cause quite a spike and then a crash in energy levels.
You've hit the nail on the head. When you drink something that's sugary, your blood sugar can spike way up, and then just as quickly, it can come crashing down. This roller coaster effect can leave you feeling tired, irritable, and struggling with brain fog. That feeling where you just can't quite think clearly. It's certainly not going to help you feel energetic and vibrant.
And I suppose there are longer-term concerns with that much sugar as well.
Indeed. Beyond those immediate effects, regularly consuming too much sugar can contribute to a whole host of other health concerns that become more prevalent as we age. It can increase inflammation in the body, which might make conditions like arthritis or joint pain feel worse. It can lead to unwanted weight gain, which can be harder to manage as our metabolism naturally slows down a bit. It also puts extra strain on our pancreas and can increase the risk of developing type 2 diabetes, or make it harder to manage if you already have it. And of course, all that sugar is no friend to our dental health either. As always, if you have concerns about diabetes or blood sugar management, it's vital to discuss them with your doctor.
That's a lot of potential downsides. Are there other things in flavored milks we should be aware of?
Yes, often these flavored milks are also packed with what we call empty calories. That means they give you calories, but not much in the way of sustained nutritional benefit. Very little fiber, and the vitamins and minerals can be overshadowed by the sheer amount of sugar. Plus, many of them contain artificial flavors, artificial colors, and sometimes preservatives. Our bodies don't need those, and for some folks, these additives can even trigger digestive upset or other sensitivities.
So even if you think you're getting some calcium, the sugar and artificial ingredients really negate the benefits.
Exactly. The negatives of all that added sugar and artificial stuff really outweigh the positives. My best advice? Next time you're in the dairy aisle and you see those colorful cartons of flavored milk, take a moment to glance at the nutrition label, specifically the sugar content. I think you might be quite surprised, and it'll make it easier to just walk on by.
That's a very practical tip, Daniel. So if we're avoiding those, what should we be looking for? Especially if regular milk doesn't always agree with us anymore.
That's an excellent question, Serena, and it brings us beautifully to our very first must-choose milk, or rather, a fantastic category of milks. This is an area that has really blossomed in recent years and offers some wonderful choices. Unsweetened, fortified plant-based milks.
You mean like almond milk, soy milk, or oat milk? I've seen so many of those.
Precisely, and others like cashew or coconut milk are available too. The key words here, and I really want to emphasize this for everyone, are unsweetened and fortified.
Why are those two words so important, Daniel?
Let's break that down. Firstly, the unsweetened versions contain little to no added sugar, which is a huge win right away. This means you get the creamy texture and the liquid base without that blood sugar spike and all the associated problems we just discussed with flavored milks. This is so important for maintaining stable energy levels and overall health.
That makes perfect sense, and I know some people find dairy harder to digest as they get older.
Daniel, that's the second point. Many people find that as they get older, dairy milk just doesn't sit right with them anymore. They might experience gas, bloating, or general discomfort. This is often due to lactose intolerance, which can develop or become more pronounced with age as our bodies produce less of the enzyme needed to digest lactose, the natural sugar in cow's milk. Plant-based milks are naturally lactose-free, so they can be a wonderful, tummy-friendly alternative.
Serena, and what about calories? Are they generally lower in calories too?
Daniel, many are, especially unsweetened almond milk, which is quite low in calories. This can be helpful if you're mindful of your weight, but still want something satisfying for your cereal or in your tea or coffee.
Serena, now about that word fortified. Why is that so crucial?
Daniel, fortified is vital because cow's milk is naturally a source of calcium and is often fortified with vitamin D, both absolutely essential for maintaining strong bones and preventing osteoporosis, a significant concern for many of us. Plant-based milks don't naturally contain as much calcium, so manufacturers add it in, along with vitamin D, which helps our bodies absorb that calcium. So always look for words like fortified with calcium and vitamin D right on the carton. This ensures you're not missing out on these essential nutrients.
Serena, could you touch on a few of the popular types, Daniel? Just briefly.
Daniel, certainly, unsweetened almond milk, as I mentioned, is very low in calories and has a mild, slightly nutty flavor. Unsweetened soy milk is a bit creamier and is a good source of plant-based protein, which is important for maintaining muscle mass. While some folks have questions about soy, for most people, enjoying it as part of a balanced diet is perfectly healthy. And unsweetened oat milk has gained a lot of popularity for its creaminess and naturally slightly sweet taste, even without added sugar. It also contains a type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan, which research suggests can be beneficial for heart health by helping to manage cholesterol levels. Of course, any dietary changes aimed at managing cholesterol should be discussed with your doctor.
So the key is to explore and read labels carefully.
Absolutely. Next time you're shopping, venture into that plant-based milk section. Read the labels carefully. Look for unsweetened and fortified. Don't be afraid to try a few different kinds to see which one you like best. You might find you love almond milk in your morning smoothie, but prefer oat milk in your coffee. It's all about finding what works for you.
And if they taste a bit plain at first?
A great point. If you find plain unsweetened milk a bit too plain initially, you can always add your own natural flavor. A sprinkle of cinnamon, a drop of pure vanilla extract, or even blending it with a handful of berries can make it absolutely delicious without any of that processed sugar or artificial stuff. Okay, Serena, let's continue our journey. The next type of milk on our maybe not the best choices list might surprise some, especially if they've heard it described as more natural or healthier. I'm referring to raw milk or unpasteurized milk.
Serena, raw milk? I have heard people say it has more nutrients because it isn't heated.
I understand that appeal, Serena, truly. There's a perception that raw milk contains more beneficial enzymes and nutrients because it hasn't undergone pasteurization. Some believe it's milk in its purest state, and in a perfect world, that might sound wonderful.
But I sense a however coming, Daniel.
You're right. And this is a really important however for us. Choosing raw milk comes with significant risks, especially for older adults. You see, pasteurization, that gentle heating process, isn't there to destroy nutrients. Its primary purpose is to kill harmful bacteria.
What kind of bacteria are we talking about?
Bacteria like Salmonella, E. coli, and Listeria can be present in raw milk. These aren't just minor tummy bugs. For anyone, an infection can be serious, but for those of us over 60, our immune systems might not be as robust. This means we can be much more vulnerable to severe illness from these foodborne pathogens, potentially leading to hospitalization or even more serious complications. Listeria, in particular, can be especially dangerous for older individuals. It's always best to consult your doctor if you have any concerns about foodborne illnesses or immune health.
So pasteurization is really a safety measure then?
Exactly. Think of it as a safety net. It's a scientifically proven method that has protected public health for generations, drastically reducing milk-borne diseases. While it's true the heating process might slightly reduce levels of certain heat-sensitive vitamins, the impact on overall nutritional value, particularly protein and calcium, is minimal. The safety benefits are enormous and, in my opinion, far outweigh any slight nutritional differences.
What about those beneficial enzymes people talk about in raw milk?
That's a common point, but the truth is, Most of those enzymes are designed for a calf's digestive system, not ours. And many enzymes that might be present would likely be broken down by our own stomach acid anyway. For beneficial enzymes and probiotics for gut health, there are much safer and more effective ways, like enjoying yogurt with live active cultures, kefir, or other fermented foods.
So, the straight-from-the-farm idea, while appealing, carries too much risk with milk.
Precisely. The risk of serious illness from harmful bacteria in unpasteurized products is just too high, especially for our age group. It's a gamble with your health that isn't worth taking. Sticking with pasteurized milk is definitely the way to go for peace of mind and well-being.
That's very clear, Daniel. So, after a riskier choice, what's a good, dependable option?
Let's move on to another wonderful, dependable must-choose milk. This one might feel very familiar, a true classic, but with a sensible adjustment for our current health needs. Good old pasteurized, low-fat 1%, or skim fat-free cow's milk, especially when it's fortified.
Ah, the familiar carton. Many of us grew up on cow's milk.
And for good reason. It's a fantastic natural source of high-quality protein, crucial for maintaining muscle strength and preventing age-related muscle loss or sarcopenia. It's also packed with calcium, our bone-building champion, vital for preventing osteoporosis and fractures.
You specified low-fat or skim, Daniel. Why is that important?
That's because whole milk contains a higher amount of saturated fat. While some fat is essential, too much saturated fat can contribute to raising LDL cholesterol levels, the bad cholesterol, which isn't great for heart health. As we age, being mindful of heart health is critical. By choosing 1% or skim milk, you get all those wonderful nutrients: protein, calcium, B vitamins like riboflavin, and B12, but with significantly less saturated fat and fewer calories. It's a heart-smarter choice. Again, managing cholesterol is something best discussed with your healthcare provider.
And the fortified part is important here too, just like with plant-based milks.
Absolutely. Most cow's milk is fortified with vitamin D, which works with calcium for bone health. Many of us don't get enough vitamin D, especially if we spend more time indoors. So, having it added to milk is a huge plus. Some milks are also fortified with vitamin A. Always take a quick peek at the label.
So, if dairy agrees with you, low-fat or skim-fortified cow's milk is a solid choice.
It is. If you tolerate dairy well, it's an excellent, affordable, and readily available option. It's versatile for drinking, with cereal, in smoothies, or for cooking. Of course, if you do have lactose intolerance, the unsweetened fortified plant-based milks we discussed are your go-to. But for others, this is a smart, simple switch.
It's about those small, informed adjustments, isn't it?
Exactly, Serena. These little adjustments can add up to a big positive impact. It's not about deprivation, but about making informed, healthier substitutions that better serve our bodies at this stage of life. All right, Serena, let's address that third milk that often slips under the radar. Perhaps because it's a pantry staple many of us have had for years, often for cooking or baking. I'm referring to evaporated milk, or its very sweet cousin, sweetened condensed milk, especially when they start being used as a regular, everyday substitute for fresh drinking milk.
Oh, the canned milks. I primarily think of them for certain recipes, like a creamy sauce or a special dessert.
And you're right, they absolutely have their place in the kitchen for those occasional uses. The problem arises when, perhaps out of convenience, or if fresh milk runs out, people start reaching for that can of evaporated milk, diluting it with water, and using it as their daily go-to milk. Or, even more concerning, if sweetened condensed milk is being used in any way that resembles a regular beverage.
So, what are the specific concerns with using evaporated milk regularly, even if it's diluted?
Evaporated milk has had about 60% of its water removed, making it much more concentrated. If you don't dilute it correctly, or if you use it straight from the can, thinking it's like regular milk, you're getting a much more concentrated dose of calories and, importantly, milk fat, including saturated fat, than you would from low-fat or skim milk. Over time, this can contribute to weight gain and affect cholesterol levels, things we want to manage carefully.
And sweetened condensed milk would be even more problematic due to the sugar, I imagine.
Precisely. Sweetened condensed milk is evaporated milk with a huge amount of sugar added. It's incredibly sweet and very thick, really more of a dessert ingredient. Using this as any kind of milk substitute regularly would mean consuming an enormous amount of added sugar, far more even than in those flavored milks we discussed. We know what that kind of sugar load can do to blood sugar, energy, and overall health. It's simply not designed for that purpose.
Are there also concerns about the vitamin content in these canned milks compared to fresh milk?
That's another good point. While the base milk might have been fortified before processing, the intense heating used for canning, designed for long shelf life, can affect some vitamin levels. And they aren't always refortified in the same way fresh drinking milk is, especially with vitamin D, to the levels we expect for daily consumption. Their primary purpose isn't to be your main source of daily milk nutrients.
So, the key message here is to keep these for their intended cooking uses, not as a regular drinking milk.
Exactly. They are great for specific culinary uses. But as a day-in, day-out drinking milk, there are far better and healthier choices specifically designed to give you the nutrients you need without the hidden pitfalls of too much fat, calories, or sugar.
That makes sense, Daniel. Now, after that caution, I'm eager to hear about our third must-choose milk. You mentioned it's a real gem.
I did, and it truly is, especially for our digestive health and immune system, both so important as we navigate our mature years. I'm talking about plain, unsweetened kefir.
Kefir. I've seen it near the yogurts. It's a bit like a drinkable yogurt, isn't it?
It is, but kefir, pronounced kefir, often has an even wider variety of beneficial bacteria and yeasts, making it a true probiotic powerhouse. Think of it as a supercharged boost for your gut. These probiotics are the good bacteria that live in our digestive system, and they play a crucial role in everything from digestion and nutrient absorption to the strength of our immune system.
I know gut health is getting a lot of attention lately for its connection to overall well-being.
It absolutely is. As we get older, the balance of bacteria in our gut can sometimes shift. Things like medications, stress, or just the natural aging process can affect it. Including probiotic-rich foods like kefir can help replenish and support those friendly bacteria, promoting better digestive regularity, reducing issues like bloating or constipation, and even supporting our immune function, a large part of which resides in our gut. As always, if you have persistent digestive issues, it's important to consult your doctor to rule out any underlying conditions.
That's fascinating. I've also heard that some people who have trouble with regular milk can tolerate kefir. Is that true?
Yes, that's one of the fantastic things about kefir. During the fermentation process, the bacteria and yeasts in the kefir grains actually feed on the lactose, the milk sugar, breaking it down. So, by the time it gets to you, much of the lactose is already pre-digested, making it easier on many systems.
So, you get the probiotic benefits, and it might be easier to digest. Does it also have the calcium and protein of other dairy?
It does. Like other dairy products, kefir is also a good source of calcium and protein, so you're getting those bone-strengthening and muscle-supporting benefits too. Plus, it contains B vitamins and potassium. It typically has a tangy, slightly sour taste, which many people find refreshing. The key, as with other milks, is to choose the plain, unsweetened version, as flavored varieties can be loaded with added sugars.
How would you suggest someone incorporate kefir into their diet, especially if they're new to it?
You can drink it straight, just like milk. It's great in smoothies. It adds a lovely creamy texture and that probiotic punch. You can pour it over cereal or granola or mix it with fresh fruit. Some people even use it in salad dressings or dips. If you're new to it, start with a small amount, say half a cup, to see how your system responds, and then you can gradually increase it if you like. Look for plain or unsweetened and live-active cultures on the label.
It sounds like a simple yet very effective way to boost gut health.
It truly is, Serena. A wonderful addition to a health-conscious senior's diet, giving your insides a little bit of daily TLC. And there we have it, Serena, our 3 milks to perhaps reconsider and 3 fantastic ones to embrace.
It's really about making those smart, informed choices, isn't it, Daniel? Helping us feel our best and stay strong.
Exactly. These aren't huge, drastic changes. They're simple swaps, little adjustments in our shopping habits that can add up to make a real difference in our daily energy and long-term health. It's about being mindful and proactive. And understanding these differences and knowing you're making the best choices for your body, well, that's a really good feeling in itself.
It certainly puts you back in the driver's seat of your own well-being.
So, just to quickly recap for everyone, we've seen that those tempting flavored milks with their high sugar content can sabotage our energy. We discussed the potential dangers of raw milk, reminding ourselves that pasteurization is our friend for safety. And we talked about keeping evaporated and sweetened condensed milks for their specific cooking roles, not as everyday drinking milk.
And on the positive side, we highlighted unsweetened, fortified plant-based milks as great options, especially if dairy is an issue. Then there's good old pasteurized, low-fat, or skim cow's milk, a classic for calcium and protein. And finally, the gut-loving plain, unsweetened kefir.
A perfect summary, Serena. It's not about deprivation. It's about understanding what fuels our bodies best at this stage of life and choosing those options that will help us feel more energetic and healthier. And remember, everyone, these small changes can make such a big difference. That one little action in the supermarket, repeated daily, can have a profound positive impact.
It's empowering to know we can make those choices.
I truly believe that knowledge is empowering, and I hope our chat today has given you all some clear, practical insights. It's never too late to make positive changes for your health. You deserve to feel vibrant and well, and taking care of what you put into your body is a cornerstone of that. Of course, and we always like to emphasize this, if you have any specific health conditions or dietary concerns, it's always best to discuss them with your doctor or a registered dietitian. They can provide personalized advice.
That's a very important reminder, Daniel.
Now, we would absolutely love to hear from all of you. What are your go-to healthy milks? Have you tried kefir, or are you a fan of a particular plant-based milk? Please, do share your thoughts and experiences in the comments section below. It's wonderful when we can learn from each other.
Your insights could be really helpful to someone else watching.
And of course, if you found this information helpful and valuable, we'd be so grateful if you could give this video a thumbs up. That little like button really helps other people to find our content.
And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel and hitting that notification bell. We're always sharing new tips and advice focused on senior health and wellness.
Thank you all so much for spending this time with us today. It's been a pleasure. Remember, taking care of yourself is one of the most important things you can do at any age. Be kind to your body, make those thoughtful choices, and keep enjoying all the wonderful things life has to offer.
Here's to your health, your happiness, and to living your very best life.
Until next time, everyone, take good care.